Begin the Radial Snowflake project by either tracing a circle template or large circular object onto your paper. You can also use the safety compass if you prefer to create your own circle. It's okay if the circle is not completely perfect because we are going to cut it out. After you have cut out your circle, you can return your scissors and your template and throw away any of your scraps. Fold the circle in half. It doesn't actually matter which way you start. I'm going to fold it, make a nice sharp crease. To find the center of the bottom line, you can either measure it and make a mark for your center point with a ruler, or I can fold it in half gently, and that means I don't want to make a sharp crease, so I can really just pinch the very bottom here because I don't want to make a big crease line this way. I'm going to go ahead and put a little mark on my crease so it's easier to see. Take a protractor and you're going to line up the vertical line at the bottom of your protractor with the mark you made and the horizontal lines on your protractor with the bottom of your paper. Make a mark at 60 on the outside of your protractor and 120. With either the straight edge of your protractor, if it's large enough, or with a ruler, I'm going to pivot from my center point to my marks. So my ruler or straight edge is lined up with both of them. Lightly draw a line and repeat on the other side. I want to fold sharp creases on these diagonal pencil lines. I'm going to pick up my paper and carefully fold away from me. That way I can see that my crease is on my pencil line. I want to make it a sharp crease. I'm going to use my fingernail. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So fold away. Make a sharp crease. That's a little bit off. It's not a huge amount, so I'm just going to go with it. Nice sharp crease. And then we unfold it. So we open up our paper all the way. We have one side with nothing on it and the other side with pencil marks. Go ahead and write your name in your block. On the side with your pencil marks. For this next step, so we're making all of our designs on the side with no pencil marks. If you want to make pencil marks first, and then go over them with crayon, you may. But if you feel comfortable just drawing with crayon, you can also make that choice. Look at the snowflake images on Google Classroom. You can also Google your own snowflake crystal images. Make sure they are actual snowflake crystals, not artwork of snowflake crystals. And we're going to create all of our design in one of these wedges because we're going to use the transfer process to make the art the same all the way around. Snowflakes have a 6-fold symmetry. Almost all snowflakes will have a hexagonal shape within their center because of their 6-fold symmetry. To achieve that hexagonal shape, I'm going to draw in this center top wedge, and I can't draw past my creases. With my straight edge, if I draw lightly with a pencil first, from crease to crease, when I replicate this line around my circle, we'll make a hexagon shape. So you can go ahead and you can make multiple hexagon shapes. Occasionally you will also see other shapes, so I can make a dot for a center point to aim for and draw from crease to dot. Feel free to look at the examples of actual snowflake crystals on Classroom and come up with your own designs. You don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing. The important thing is that you're only drawing in one wedge so that the transfer process works. To start with, this looks fairly simple. I can always add more details and designs later on. You're going to trace over your pencil lines with a dark colored crayon. So don't use black, but you could use purple or blue or red violet. And I'm gonna go ahead and trace over all of my pencil lines with pretty significant pressure to deposit a lot of wax. After I have traced my pencil lines, or if I have drawn with a crayon to begin with, I'm going to fold along the creases I already have to make this design transfer all the way around. In the end, the design will be the same all the way around your circle, which makes it a radially symmetrical artwork, just like actual snowflakes. I'm going to fold along the crease with my spoon. I'm going to apply decent pressure. I'm going to rub just where I can see the crayon through the paper. The darker the color of crayon you use, the easier it is to transfer across. We are going to work in other colors here in a moment. If it's not transferring, try using more pressure. You can also use the round end of a Sharpie to apply more directed pressure. Now I'm going to trace my lines. Ideally, I would be using my straight edge again. Where these lines are so short, I'm pretty sure I can make them close enough to being straight. I'm starting to see the symmetry. I want to transfer these two wedges across to either these two wedges or these two. So it really just depends on which axis you fold on. So if I fold on this axis, it's going to transfer across. It's important that you hold the paper with your other hand so it doesn't wrinkle or move while you're transferring. If you are using a big Sharpie to transfer, just use the round end of the Sharpie, not the cap end. For the last two wedges, again, it doesn't really matter which axis you fold on as long as these two empty wedges are facing two wedges that already have wax in them. After you have finished adding details with the wax, you are going to paint your snowflakes. You can use whatever colors you would like. You are restricted to either the watercolor tray paints or the tempera tray paints. You may not use liquid tempera for this. For the wax resist to work, you need a decent amount of water in your paint, and the liquid tempera is, for lack of a better word, too viscous or too thick for it to work with this technique. To activate the watercolor, remember you put a little puddle on it. With the liquid tempera paint, you don't usually add water to it. With the tray tempera paint, you use a little bit of water on your brush, but you don't need a puddle like you do with watercolor. You want to paint your snowflake so that it is also radially symmetrical. You'll notice that my designs are the same all the way around the snowflake. They're not perfect because a lot of the design was done by hand. And you can start to see that white crayon that I was using really push the pigment away, which is what it's supposed to do. The only white that can be on your snowflake is any white wax you have deposited with your crayon. So you want to add details with your crayon and then paint the entire snowflake. So all of the pieces of the actual snowflake and the background.